Hello and welcome to OC Joey's 123 ball run in only 27 minutes, and this is a player's review. This is a very difficult and exciting run, and that's why I chose to do a player's review. I've got many runs over 100. My high run is 331, but this was an unusual 100 ball run challenge, and I want to just go through this with you. So, of course, now my objective is to have a good key ball and a good break shot. And the 14 ball I want to leave, and the key ball could be the 8. We started off with a 8 ball kind of a break just to get the balls open to start with. And the only problems I have right now are the 13 and 15, and I want to take that out as soon as possible. So I identify problems very quickly. The problems are balls on the rails, uncovering the two corner pockets, lower left and lower right. Those are always problems, so I try and get rid of that very quickly. So I did shoot the 13 and got rid of that problem. And now I don't really have any problems other than the 10 ball on the head braille. So I shoot the 8, carry them into the 5. You really don't want to run into balls in straight pool. You want to shoot around the balls. You never want to bump into balls because you know where they are, but you don't always know where they're going. And that's what stops a lot of runs. So it's the 15 in the side. And I have a problem here already. I didn't get on the 5 ball like I wanted to, or I think that's the 4 ball. So I'm going to gently shoot the 13, the 11 ball. I'm going to slice that one in. And I still have that problem 10 ball I've got to focus on. So now I'm going to shoot the 4 ball, come down for the 1, get that off the rail. And I don't want to touch the 14 ball. That's going to be my break shot because I'm right-handed. If I was left-handed, I'd be using the 7 ball. So now I'm going to shoot the 9, and I have an opportunity to draw back on that 9 now to get the 10 ball. It's imperative to take it right now. So I'm going to shoot the 10 ball. Remember, we're leaving the 14 ball as the break shot. And I shoot the 10 ball gently, making sure that I cinch that. And now I'm going to shoot the 5 and leave the 7 as the key ball, which I do. And I get straight, which is perfect. I draw it straight back and get a nice angle on the 14. Now, the key, I think, in running, it's a 14 ball run there, and that was done in 2 minutes, 59 seconds. The key is really the break shot, I think, in straight pool, one of the major keys. You've got to understand how to break the balls in straight pool. A good way of doing it is using quite a bit of spin. That does create separation and gives you a fairly good yield. So as you can see, I did spin the cue ball. I didn't hit it tremendously hard, but I did spin the cue ball and I did get a fairly good yield. Now I made a mistake here. I wanted to hit the 7, just tap the 7 gently, but I missed hitting the center. Now I've got to shoot over the 7 ball and I've got to play the 5 in the side pocket, which is always missable. And I did happen to make that. Now my problems are very obvious. I've got the 1 ball, 13 ball on the left-hand side, or that's the 14 ball. But I shoot the 9 ball. I come around, and I need angle so I can get the 13 or 14 and 1 ball on the left-hand side of the table. That's important. I could possibly get that now with the 6, so I shoot the 6, and I do carry him into the 14. I think that's the 14 ball, and I did break up that little bit of a cluster, but I still have a problem. I've got that 5 ball cluster in the center of the table, so I've got to get on the 1. I got to get straight on the 1. Why? I want to float the cue ball down to where I can pocket the 7 ball in the side pocket with an angle, and I can run into that 5 ball cluster. So I did tap the 1, but a little bit too hard. I still have an angle, but not the angle I wanted. I want to get into the 2 ball flush, and I don't. I happened to hit the bottom of the 2, which is not what I wanted. Now I've got a little bit of a situation here. I'm going to shoot the 11 ball up the corner. I've got to now play the 10 ball and go 2 rails around, and I try and get on the 13 ball. The 5 ball, the orange ball, is my break shot, or I want it to be my break shot. So I want to get straight if I can on the 13. I don't want to hit the 5 ball, but I didn't. I missed the angle. So I've got to now pocket the 13, go into the 5, into the 2, and that is a problem for me. Now I've got to manufacture another break shot. So I'm going to pocket the 2 here and hopefully tap the 8 ball into the position of being another break shot, but giving me room to pocket the 5 after I tap the 8, which I did. And that was done well. Now I've got to shoot the 5. I'd like to get straight on the 15 if I can and have a stop shot on that 8 ball. But I go a little bit too far. I've got to put the 15 in the side, and I've got to draw back and go 2 rails with spin and around and capture that nice angle on the 8 ball, which I did. So that was well done, a little bit of difficulty, but I've got a 28 ball run with a very nice break shot. And same thing, I'm going to make sure that I don't hit it very hard, but hard enough to get a good yield with the right hand spin to create a separation. If you can't do that, you're going to have a very difficult time running balls. So I'm going to put a high right or medium right, and I was able to make the break shot. Pretty good yield with a couple of problems. I've got the 11 and 15 on the left-hand side as a problem, and I don't try and go into the balls right away after I break the balls open. I try to take very simple, easy shots, as I'm doing right now, manipulating the cue ball in such a way where it's not going to travel a whole lot, and try and figure out how to get into the rest of the cluster safely. So now I've got to shoot the 10 ball with angle, hopefully getting on that 13 ball. I think it's the 13 ball. Why? I want to be able to get into that cluster with the 7 ball. So I'm going to float the cue ball down, which I do, and I do have the right angle now to pocket the 7. I'm going to careem into the 3 ball and open up the 13 and 9 and hopefully get a break shot, which I did. So I tapped the 9 ball in as a break shot. Now I still have problems here. I've got a very bad problem with the 11 ball tied up. I've got a field goal shot here, pocketing the 2 ball into the left corner pocket, upper corner pocket. I want to bump the 3 ball here to give me room to get rid of the 1. The 1's a real problem as well. So I did that. I tapped the 1 into the side, and now I've got a 2-rail carom into the 11 ball and 15, but I missed it. I hit the 5. Now I've got real problems here. I've got to be able to pocket the 5 ball, and I still have the 11 and 15 as a little bit of a cluster. It's a big problem. I now have to go into that cluster with the 3 ball, 2 rails around, and carry him into those 2 balls, and I hit it, but I hit it really bad. Now I've got real problems. The 9 ball is my break shot, so I can't take that. I've got to use a combination shot, but look what I did. I made the combo, but I hit my break shot. Now I've got a very difficult shot here on the 9, getting position for another break shot. This is a very long and difficult break shot. I'm on a 42 ball run in about 9 minutes, which is good, but a very difficult 11 ball break shot. These you need to shoot a certain way, and you need to be very still, and you need to put a little bit of follow on the cue ball, because you need to get into these balls and you can't hit it hard. So I've got to gently use follow, and now I've got the 7 ball. But look, I've got a 7 ball problem, but I can bank it in the side pocket and get a break shot, and that's exactly what I did. So I did get lucky there, getting the 7 ball as a bank shot with a break shot. So the yield was really very good. I can make the 10 and I can bump the 8 slightly. I have the 5, 13, and 6 cluster, but I can see the 5, no problem, and I'm going to pinch that. I didn't want to run into the balls because the 13 and 6 have a pocket. So now I've got the 8 and 1 as an issue and the 2. I've got to pay attention. Let me make the 9, tap the 13. It'll give me room to shoot the 3, and then I can address the 1 and 8. This is how you have to play. And I've got now the 8 and 1. I've got to get rid of that problem. The 2 is still a problem. The 5 ball is my break shot, and I still have the 6 and 13 to address. I have to get the extension, because I can't reach, and I'm going to play the 8, but I'm going to now take the 13 and 6 out, but I've got to pinch the 13. Don't want to run into the 6 because I can tie up my break shot, which is the 5 ball. Here you got to be very careful. A very gentle touch is what this takes. So let's pinch this ball very gently. Now I can take out the 15 up top by pocketing the 13 in the side. That is the way I get the 15 out. When you've got 1 ball up table, 1 ball, you've got to take that out as soon as possible. I let that sit a little bit too long. Now I've got to play position for the 1, and I do. And now I can take the 1 out, and preferably I want to shoot the 6, 14, 2. But look what I did. I came down too far on the 6. You can't always get perfect position. I'm going to shoot the 14 in the side now. Okay. Now this is a very tricky, difficult position I left myself in. I need to make the 2 ball, but put the cue ball in such a position where when I make the 6 ball, which is my new key ball, which is a horrible key ball, it's going to leave me with another very long, difficult break shot, but I have no choice. I've got to now position this cue ball. I've got the extension. You've got to be very comfortable shooting these shots. So now I've got to line up exactly where I need to be on the 6. I'm going to shoot the 2 ball and put that cue ball in such a position that it allows me to make the 6, not run into the 5, but unfortunately, I'm going to have a very long and difficult angled break shot again. So there you go. Very difficult break shot. I'm on a 56 ball run. It's imperative I make this. And this particular shot, I'm going to roll with right English and spin this object ball, spin the 5 ball into the pocket with a medium-sized type of stroke. You cannot force this one. It's got to be spun in with a gentle touch because of the distance. I will get a good yield because of the distance. I knew that. And now I have an opportunity to get into this rack by pocketing the 6 gently. I don't want to run into too many things here, which I bumped the 14, gave me access to the 5, gently roll that in. And now by pocketing the 13, I can carry them into the 3 and the 13 and open up this rack. And that was my goal, gently. So everything is done gently. I was able to do that. Still don't have a good break shot. I've got to work on that. But at least I have the balls open. Not 2 balls are touching. But there's still a couple of small problems. The 14 is one of them. So I'm going to shoot the 2 ball into the upper left-hand pocket. I like shooting balls up table. I don't know why, but I just like doing that. I'm going to stop the 14. I need to shoot the 15. I've got to take the 8 off the rail next. Gently, again, a very gentle touch on the 15. And that's fine. I came up a little bit too much, so I'm going to shoot this ball. I believe it's the 10 ball. I remember now I don't have a real good break shot. So I shoot the 10. Now I can tap the 1 ball, which I'm trying to do, but I miss it completely. and I tapped the 9. That's not what I wanted. So now I'm going to shoot the 1 ball, give me angle for the 7. I've got real problems here. I don't have a break shot. I don't even have a key ball. I'm going to shoot the 7, gain angle on the 13. Now my plan is to put the 9, when I shoot the 9 ball last, to put it in the rack so I can have ball in hand on the 11 ball in the side pocket for a break shot. That's my plan. I have no other way of doing it. So now I've got to shoot the 3. I'm not in the right lineup that I wanted for the 9. So now I've got to shoot the 3, get angle on the 11 to get the right angle on the 9 so I can pocket the 9 and put the cue ball on the rack. And that's not going to work. I missed the angle. I cannot put the cue ball in the rack after shooting the 9. I have no other choice but to shoot the 11 in the corner pocket, get a little bit of angle on the 9, and go 2 rails. When I pocket this 9, 2 rails into the rack, which is very difficult. That's a 70 ball run in 16 minutes roughly, because I'm racking, so it takes time to rack as well. So now here's where, again, the run could have ended, but I was very determined. This is a very difficult shot to pull off. It's pocketing a 9, 2 rails and around, but I just tapped the rack. I have no shots. However, I can I'm going to call the 14 ball in the left-hand corner pocket, and I got very lucky, and the cue ball caromed into the 14. That shot could be made, but not that way. So I got very, very fortunate and made the 14 off of a carom. I continue my run. Now, because of that shot, I have 0 break shots around the rack. All the balls are set up to the upper table, so I've got to be very careful. And now making sure I clear these balls off. Obviously, the 13 is going to be my break shot. It's the only thing I have, and using the 6 as my key ball. So very gently and carefully, I've got to take these balls off. The problem I have now is the 1 and 3. That could be a combo, but you still have to be very careful. So I'm going to shoot the 11. I'm going to get angle on the 7. I could have tried to go into the 1 and 3, but I decided not to. I want to do that with the 8 ball. So I'm going to pocket the 7, gain angle on the 8, so I can carry him into the 1 and to the 3 and get those loose. I don't like shooting combos if I don't have to. I'd rather take my chances just bumping the ball. And I have the angle I wanted, and I successfully did bump the 1 ball, and luckily the 1 ball hit the point. It could have wound up really bad. So now I've got to draw back on the 3. I want to get even with the 1 ball. I don't want a big angle. I want to get as straight as possible. I need to get a little bit of an angle on the 10, very slightly, almost straight in, because I want to be able to shoot the 6 in the side as my key ball. So now I'm going to spin and cheat this pocket and kill the cue ball, which I did nicely, and follow that 6 ball about 6 to 8 inches up, so I have a nice angle on the 3. On the 13 is a break shot, which I do. Okay, so got through that very difficult rack. I was very fortunate to make that ball on a carom. It's an 84 ball run. My goal was 100. That was the challenge. First shot. Can I run 100 first shot? Now I've got to thin this ball so I can hit the 11 and the 8. That's what you want to do. So what I did was, again, thin the ball, but I didn't thin it enough, and I hit the 5. I could have very easily been caught behind the rack, but I was fortunate enough to get a shot on the 3 ball in the side pocket. I could make the 8, but that's not the right shot. The right shot is the 3 ball, and then from there, taking out the 6 and 15, which are in a really bad spot. So I'm going to float the cue ball up after making the 3. I've got a nice angle on the 6, and my goal is to get into the rest of the rack by using the 9 ball. So I'm going to gain a better angle, pocketing the 13, getting that nice angle on the 9, and then going into that cluster gently with a high ball, creating separation, but I slid, unfortunately, off of the top of the rack. But I'm still okay. I can now pinch the 2 ball, which I did. I've got the 1 and the 5 and the 11 as a problem, so I've got to make the 14 and almost missed it. I was focusing on the 1 and 5 and 11, trying to get position on that 5 ball, and I wanted to then hit, which I did. Now this is tricky. I got the 11 out, but now I want to pinch the 5, 1, and have the 7 as my break shot, and I just barely did it. That's the break shot I really desperately need to get to the 100. I make the 11 ball on the side. I've got a real problem now with the 8. It's in a really bad spot. I should have taken that ball out shots ago. I did not. Now I've got to work my way into getting that ball out of there. It's a terrible ball. So what do? I make the 1 ball and I carry them 2 rails into the 10, opening up that 8 ball now. I want to be able to draw back directly from that 8 ball. 7 ball is my break shot. The 15 is my key ball. So the key is to draw back on that 8, and I want to hit that key to key into the side. I bumped it correctly. That's the 10 ball. Now I want to make the 10, and I want to get as straight as I could on the 15 to create a stop shot for that break shot. So I've got a little bit of a stop shot here. That's ideal. I only need a little bit of an angle. I'm on a 98 ball run in 22 minutes. I only need 2 balls. So I'm not going to hit this break shot very hard, just hard enough to make it, and then have 1 other or 2 other balls come out of the rack so I can complete my 100 ball run. That was the challenge. So again, I'm not going to hit this hard, but I'm going to hit it with spin to create a separation. And I hit it a little bit low. Don't want to follow it in, and I did. Just what I wanted to do. Now I've got the 8 ball as my 100th ball. I'm going to tap the 6 just in case. So that's the 100 ball run in 22 minutes and 45 seconds. That was the challenge. I was successful, and that was a 100 ball run. Now, I was going to continue. I've got a very difficult shot now on the 6 ball, and I want to hit it with inside spin to try and get that 9 ball, tap the 9 ball a little bit. I did, but I hit it on the wrong side. Now look at this. I've got a very long, difficult shot, but here's a trick shot. I can carom the 1 ball off the 1 ball. I can't miss the 15. That happens all the time. You see those shots all the time. So I knew I could not miss that 15 ball if I tapped the 1. I caromed off the 1. I continue my run. So now I'm going to position for the 3 ball. I want to tap the 13 out a little bit and clear out that 11 ball, which I did. I want to be able to go, I believe I want to go 2 rails here, and I want to be able to make the, no, okay, I came back very smartly. I want to fire the 11 ball up in the corner pocket and break open the 5 and 9, which I did. And now I've got the 5 on the side. I want to get straight on the 10, and I didn't because I want the 13 and 2 in the corner pocket. Now I've got to go into the 2 and 13, which I don't like to do. I have no other choice. And I just tap the 2, and it opens up the 13. So I make the 2, and I've got the 9 as a break shot. So I'm going to now float the cue ball down for the 13. The idea is to go 2 rails around and use that other ball as the key ball and leave the 9 as my break shot. But I'm going to leave the cue ball in the rack and get ball in hand again. It's very valuable. People don't use it enough. So I did. I got the cue ball in the rack. I can now pick up the cue ball, and I can now use the 9 ball as my break shot. Remember, if you're in stroke and you've got ball in hand in the kitchen behind the line, you should be able to pocket that ball if you're in stroke. Now, I happen to be in stroke, at least for now, and I'm not going to hit this hard again. It's a very long shot, but I have ball in hand. I'm going to use my right hand spin to create separation. I don't have to hit it hard, and watch the yield I get. I mean, that's amazing. I didn't hit it hard at all. I hit it very soft, got a beautiful yield. The only problems I have are the 2 and the 13, but I have so many balls I can use to bump those. Bumped it a little bit there, but there's so many different options I have now. I'll end up shooting the 10 ball. And again, you got to be very careful. I'm shooting over a ball. You've got to be very careful in the beginning of every rack, cinching balls, hitting balls softly, not running into balls and creating more problems. I've got to get the 8 ball, come around for the 5, just very gentle things like that. That will enable you to run a lot of balls. So I have the 5 I can take out now, maybe bump the 6. I think the 7 is my break shot, but I drew back on that ball. I'm going to then pocket the 1, and I still have the 2 and 13 as a problem. I believe that's the 13 ball, the 2 and the 13. Now's a perfect time to get it. So I can draw back on the 13. I can carry him into the 2, and I'll have the 3 ball as a what we call a Geico or an insurance ball, as Tony Robles will call that a Geico or an insurance ball. 7 in the side, clear out the break shot, which is the 6 ball, but here's where I really screwed up. I thought I can see the 2 past the 3. I never bothered to look. I assumed that I could. It looked good. I had to get my extension to shoot this ball, and I make the ball, but I can't see the 2, and it stopped my run. So you've got to not have tunnel vision. That's it, 123 ball run in only 27 minutes. And I want to thank you for watching, and thank Pat Fleming and Jack Colavita, the late Jack Colavita, for the many hours of training and practice. Thank you very much.